Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another ARK Mobile video. Today's video is how to build a simple racetrack and how to set up the racing flag archetype. Racing flags are one of the lesser used archetypes used in ARK Mobile, so I figured they'd get a little more coverage. Plus I really wanted to build one on the new PvX server I opened, which by the way, if you want to join, it is called rutrine-pvxc. Okay though, no getting off track. Off track. Gotta get on with this tutorial though. For this tutorial, I recommend building on an unofficial server because there's no way in heck an official server is gonna have enough, flat space for this. But for where we're building, we're currently at lat 67, lawn 14. It's on the western shores on that little peninsula thingy. I know how to pronounce words. Anyways, this racetrack is mostly repeating the same steps over and over, kind of like the last fishing dock video, so it's relatively easy. To save time, because I legit spent 3 hours on and off recording this, and I need a way to shorten down to 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and mostly show an aerial view of what I changed to it, as well as show the repeatable parts in one section and then repeat around the build. So anyways, let's get on to the tutorial. Let me go ahead and toss out the ingredients on screen. It's a lot of railings. A lot. If you want to save some space on structures, remove all the stone railings and replace them with half the number of stone window frames. It'll be a little bit uglier. I mean, I personally would prefer it, but it would save you literally half the structures in the build. Let's see, you can also remove the pillars to save on structures, but then you lose out on the whole aesthetic stuff. But first thing you want to do after you get a really large flat area and all your materials all set up is to place the outline of the racetrack using fence foundations. Now I went ahead and I wrote down the numbers across the screen right now, and that is the number of fence foundations you'll have across the entire heckin' build. These are going to be the walls for the racetrack. And once those are placed, place stone pillars 2 high on each of the corners. I circled them in the video because I kind of forgot to record that part. Sorry about that, but I mean, it's just the corners, so hopefully it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, 2 high pillars on every corner. Okay, so for this part, I decided to go ahead and build it separately because, by gosh, I did not do a good enough job explaining it the first time. But one thing that's kind of weird about building, if you place a pillar on top of a fence foundation, you can then not place a ceiling on top of it. So here's how I ended up setting it up. So imagine that this is the line that we had for the the entire racetrack. Let's see. And then imagine that this part is that middle piece that that basically connects the two of them together. And along this corner, you would want to place that foundation that you would normally place that ceiling on top of. Well, you can't heckin' do that. So we have to go ahead and, let's see, pick up that stone first. Fence foundation, come on. Where the heck is it? There we go. So there's 1. There's 2. And then after that, you go ahead and place down the pillars. You need to have 1 extra one for this recipe to place right along the corner. And then because of that, it'll then be placed 1 foundation length away, right in the opening over here. And then once that one's placed without a fence foundation attached to it, you can then demolish the first one. Come on, there's the button. So then the second one will still be right here, and then after that, you place down the extra stone fence foundation just to reconnect them. And then once you build up this pillar up 3 high, that's how you can then place the ceiling on top of it for the overhang. So after we finish that, make sure you go ahead and make sure the overhead pillars are 3 high and top them up with your stone ceiling. Then place walls on all 4 sides of the ceiling, place a secondary ceiling on top of that to create a closed box, and then connect them all with wooden catwalks. And to make this build look like a professional racetrack, we heckin' need some black and white racing flags. I've never watched racing stuff myself, but I've played plenty of Mario Kart to know what I'm talking about. Okay, so after we finish that, time to heckin' go onto those dino gates. These make sure you can actually get your dinos in and out of the racetrack without having to drop them in via quets. But once those are all set, it's on to the last 2 repeatable sections before we cover what the heck a racing flag archetype is. For all those fence foundations, now it's time to span those railings on top of them. For this build, we need 2 layers of stone railings and 1 layer of wooden railings on top of that. Repeat all of that along the 2 giant oval shapes of the racetrack to form the walls. And once you think you're done with that, whip out a spray painter or a paintbrush, and let's go ahead and dye the railings. Alternate between red and white like this to give the appearance of stripes all the way down the racetrack. Okay, now it's time to learn how to use the race flag archetype. The racing flag archetype is available in the shop menu for $4.99 US, not $499, $4.99. Just want to clarify on that. The description for this item reads off: place this flag and specify that as a start, finish, or checkpoints of a race anywhere on the island. You can set limits on who can race and what they are riding. A flag set on the finish line will track the top times. Well, at least that part's pretty self-explanatory, so we can't just have one flag for both the start and the finish. We also need to have one in checkpoint at the halfway mark, just to make sure no one just walks backwards to complete the race immediately. Also, I forgot to add the racing flags can be crafted in your inventory, and they require potent dust in the recipe, so they are a little bit pricey. Each racing flag needs 40 wood, 120 stone, 60 fiber, and 10 potent dust each. On a good point though, if you accidentally misplace one, you can pick it back up to save on materials. From where we first place the dino gates, place the starting flag right after it on whatever side you want to start the race. Doesn't matter which side, I mean, it's identical on each side. Once you place the first racing flag, make sure you tap on the settings button and customize the race type. For the racetrack we're building today, I changed the start racing flag to IDA. IDA. I don't know how to pronounce that one properly. I don't know why the A noise confuses me, but IDA, type start, and then mount any. And then we are allowing non-tribe members to join. Then run all the way around the racetrack to the halfway point, and we're going to go ahead and place a second racing flag over there. This one's going to be for checkpoint 1, and it needs to have these settings over here. So again, IDA, and this time change the type to checkpoint 1. Then for the third racing flag, run all the way around the rest of the track back to the starting. Well, not the starting, but like before the starting. And go to the other side of the dino gates. This one is going to be as close as possible as you can get to the other racing flag, but the game does require you to build it like several foundation lengths away. But for the finishing one, we do need to change the settings to IDA, type finish, and then reset times. That's just a button. You can press it, it just resets times. I don't know why I said that one, but the UI confuses me. I'm not that bright when it comes to assembling race flags together. Legit, this whole video probably took me like 2 weeks to make. Anyways, now that the third racing flag is completed, we now have all the settings we need to make this to heck and run properly. Now that it is working though, we did actually run a race on the server. Well, we ran several, but I don't want to bore you guys with like 30 minutes of just me without any audio just running back and forth, so I'll just include one here. But basically, we have it all set up for a test run on the PVX server. People did run it through with the Pteranodons earlier. That was kind of interesting to watch. You think for such a giant racetrack, it wouldn't be like a 3-second long race, but oh well. Anyways, whenever you try to run the race, it will have the island race pursuit, and it will show your score on the high score, the leaderboard. That's the correct word, not high scoreboard. It will show up on the leaderboard if you do make it on the leaderboard, and I think that's honestly a really heckin' cool feature. Reset times, I would recommend that if you are changing any of the settings, like if you're gonna make the race to like Equus only, Dodos only, etc. But honestly, I am very happy with how this build turned out, and I do think it does make a great addition on our server. Anyways, I do think that wraps up today's video. I hope everyone enjoyed the tutorial and learned a little bit more about the racing flag archetype. Honestly, I learned a heck ton more about it because honestly, I did not know almost anything starting this video when it came time for prepping it. Anyways, if you do enjoy the content, don't forget there's a like button down below. I mean, hitting the like button down below does help support the channel, and we did most recently hit 10k subscribers. If you do want to help us get to 20k by like 2050, that'd be mega appreciated. Anyways, I hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.